Can skipping meals actually help you lose weight? Now, I know what you're thinking. Skipping a meal here or there, it can't be that big of a deal, right? It's a question I hear often, and on the surface seems really logical. Cut out a meal, cut down on calories, you're one step closer to your goal weight. Well, not so fast. The human body is an amazing thing, and the response to what we eat or what we don't is pretty complex. I'm women's fitness expert Julie Lohre, and over the last 20 years, I've worked with women around the world, helping them get to their very best shape. I've also looked into countless diet trends and nutritional myths. Well, today, I'm going to unpack the science behind why skipping meals might not be the weight loss shortcut that some women think it is. We'll explore how our bodies react to skipping meals, what happens to your metabolism, and why that midday meal that you're thinking of skipping could be more important than you realize. It's not just about the calories saved, but the holistic impact on our physical and mental well-being. Be sure to stick around at the end because I'm going to share with you when it actually would be a good idea to skip a meal. But before we dive into the science, I want to hear from you. Let me know your experiences with meal skipping. Has it helped you or has it caused you some setbacks? If you can share your story in the comments below, I'm going to read and respond to every single one. And if you are looking to transform your body and your approach to weight loss and health sustainably, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So, okay, is skipping meals going to help you lose weight? The first thing I want you to consider is metabolic slowdown. So when we talk about skipping meals, a nutrition science term known as metabolic slowdown is something you have to consider. This phenomenon might sound kind of technical, but it's something that directly impacts each and every one of us, especially when we play around with skipping meals. You see, our bodies are incredibly smart. They're designed to survive. When we start skipping meals regularly, our body perceives this as a signal of scarcity, a hint that food might not be readily available. And in response to this threat, our body kicks into conservation mode. It isn't just about feeling a bit hungrier than usual. It's about your body deciding how to manage its energy resources. The process is known scientifically as adaptive thermogenesis. Fancy term, okay. But here's what it means in plain language. Our body adapts to the lower calorie intake by becoming more efficient at using energy. It dials down the energy expenditure where it can, notably in our basal metabolic rate, and that's our BMR. Your BMR is like the idle speed on your car. It's the rate at which your body burns energy or calories at rest, just to keep up with the vital functions. Things like breathing, circulating blood, cell production, that kind of thing. When your BMR decreases, your metabolism slows down. And that's your body's way of stretching out the energy reserves for as long as possible. You know, similar to how you might do if you're rationing your food on a long hike in the wilderness. In the short term, that might seem beneficial. However, this is a big deal, and it's going to cause a slower metabolism overall that's going to require fewer calories just to maintain your current weight. That adaptation can make weight management more challenging, especially if you return to eating your usual calories. You might find that the scale doesn't budge, or worse, it starts to creep up, even if you're not eating any more than you're used to. Moreover, that metabolic slowdown isn't just a temporary blip. If the habit of skipping meals continues, it can lead to a prolonged state where your body is essentially operating on energy-saving mode. This doesn't just stall your weight management efforts, it can also affect your energy levels, your mood, your overall well-being. So while it might be tempting to skip a meal here or there to cut down on calories, it's crucial to remember that the broader impact this can have on your metabolic health. Nourishing our bodies with the right balance of meals is not just about satisfying hunger. It's about keeping our metabolic engine running smoothly. That's going to ensure that you have the energy to pursue your goals and to live your life to your fullest. The second reason we may want to avoid skipping meals: overeating and weight gain. One of the most common outcomes of skipping meals is the seemingly inevitable binge that follows. Have you ever noticed how your food choices shift when you're really, really hungry? Suddenly, the salad doesn't look nearly as appealing as that pizza or a big juicy burger. That's not just you. It's a widespread physiological response, creating that intense hunger. When we skip meals, particularly if it's a substantial one like breakfast or lunch, by the time the next meal rolls around, our hunger levels have skyrocketed. This intense hunger isn't just uncomfortable, it also lowers our resolve to make healthy choices. Our body, in its quest for energy, craves high-calorie, often high-carb foods that can give you a rapid surge of energy. This is a natural response, and it's deeply ingrained in our physiology. After all, from an evolutionary standpoint, when food was scarce, the best survival strategy was to consume those high-energy foods when you could get them. However, in today's world, where food is plentiful, this response can lead us down a path that disrupts our caloric balance. When we finally sit down to eat after skipping meals, we're not just eating, we're overeating most often. The issue isn't just quantity, but also the quality of what we consume. The high-calorie, high-carb choices pack a double whammy. They add to our caloric intake significantly, but they don't provide the nutrition our body needs or those nutrients to help us function optimally. Here's where the cycle begins. You skip a meal, you become overly hungry, you overeat, then you choose foods that are less than ideal. This cycle, if repeated, can lead to a consistent caloric surplus. Over time, that surplus isn't just going to be numbers on a page, it's going to translate to weight gain. And not just any kind, but the kind that's really hard to reverse because it's intertwined with a disruptive eating pattern, and that can possibly even change our metabolism. This behavior can also affect our relationship with food. It can lead to feelings of guilt and frustration, even failure, and that's going to further complicate our journey towards a healthy lifestyle. Breaking this cycle by ensuring we eat regular, nutrient-dense meals not only helps maintain a calorie balance, but also stabilizes our hunger levels throughout the day. This stabilization makes it easier to make thoughtful, healthy food choices, and that's going to help our overall well-being and support our weight management goals. So, as tempting as it might be to skip a meal to save on calories, remember, this strategy could backfire. Not only can it lead to overeating and making less healthy food choices, it can also set you in that cycle that's really hard to break. My final reason that you want to avoid skipping meals is blood sugar fluctuations. So this is going to tie directly to the previous talk about metabolism and our eating habits. But it's particularly pivotal when we consider the role of regular meals in our overall well-being. Blood sugar, or glucose, is our body's primary energy source. It fuels everything from our brain function to our muscles' ability to contract. Here's the thing, our bodies like balance, especially when it comes to blood sugar levels. Too high or too low can lead to lots of problems, and that's where regular meals come into play. They're going to help you maintain balance by providing this steady supply of nutrients and energy throughout the day. But when you skip a meal, you throw a wrench into that finely tuned system. Let's say you decide to skip breakfast in a rush or an attempt to cut calories. At first, your body is going to use the stored glucose to maintain blood sugar levels. But as time goes on, those levels are going to start to drop. The result, you might start to feel shaky or irritable or even have difficulty concentrating. I call that hangry. These are classic signs of low blood sugar. But the plot thickens. When you finally do eat, especially if you're reaching for something quick or high in carbs and sugar, your blood sugar levels will spike. This rapid increase might feel good momentarily. It's going to give you a burst of energy for sure, but it's short-lived. Your body responds to this spike by releasing insulin, aiming to bring down your blood sugar levels. However, this is going to lead to a sharp decline in blood sugar, and often you're going to be lower than where you started. So that cycle of mood swings and fatigues and cravings is going to start all over again. This roller coaster of blood sugar highs and lows is more than just inconvenient. Over time, it's going to put a strain on your body's ability to regulate blood sugar effectively. That constant demand from your pancreas to pump out insulin to manage these spikes can lead to insulin resistance. That's a condition where your body's cells become less responsive to insulin. This inefficiency can set the stage for type 2 diabetes, and that's going to really throw a wrench in how your body metabolizes sugar. So regular meals do more than just stave off hunger. They're going to play a really critical role in maintaining your blood sugar levels, which in turn is going to support your overall energy, mood, and health. But I promised you, Are there times when it's okay to skip a meal? While I would love for you to eat consistently 4 or 5 times a day, every single day, the reality is I want you to balance. I want you to have a structured approach, but with flexibility that you can listen to your body's natural signals. The idea here isn't to bind ourselves to the clock with military precision, but to foster a more intuitive relationship with food and our bodies. I want you to both understand and respond to your hunger cues. That's going to allow you to recognize when you need nourishment, and you can honor that need. This approach acknowledges that our bodies are not just machines. They're dynamic. They can vary day to day. For instance, some days you might wake up brimming with energy and not feel super hungry until later in the morning. Other days, you might need a hearty breakfast to kickstart your day. For me, that's every day. That variation, though, is normal and it's okay. Allowing for some flexibility in your meal timing can help you tune into your body's signals and eat in a way that feels right for you, rather than just strictly by a clock or out of habit. If we can adopt a more intuitive approach to eating, that's going to help you break free from a rigid mindset of skipping meals or calorie restriction and move towards a more mindful mindset of nourishment for your body. When you're eating, I want you to eat when you're genuinely hungry and stop when you're full. You're comfortably full, not overly full, or not because you've eaten a specific number of calories. It doesn't mean we throw all structure out the window. You need to find a balance that's going to work for your body and your lifestyle. For some women, that's going to mean eating 3 times a day. Others, it could be more frequent, smaller meals. The key is to be mindful and responsive to our body's needs. And that's going to help you prevent those pitfalls of undereating and overeating like we talked about before. This flexible, intuitive approach is going to enhance your enjoyment of food, and it's going to help you maintain your weight or lose weight if that's your goal. I hope that lining out some of the reasons why skipping meals might not be a great idea has been helpful. If you can focus more on balanced, regular meals, you're going to support your body's natural rhythms, you're going to reduce the risk of blood sugar fluctuations, and it's going to help us maintain an overall steady energy throughout the day. It's a simple but powerful step to losing weight in a healthy way. If you liked this video, I think you're going to love my video on body recomposition for women. I've put that in the show notes below, so check that video out next.